What's going on, Tan and J-Man Show Nation? It's Monday night. It's April 28th, 2025, the last April episode of the Tan and J-Man Show on this beautiful spring day. It's episode 441 for those of you at home keeping track, which is nobody, but I like to say it anyways. Streaming live on the ISC Sports Network, the ISC Sports Network YouTube page, as well as the Tan and J-Man Show Facebook page and YouTube channel. Follow us, like us, hit that notification bell, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm Tanner Lee. Across from me on the screen, in the state to the west of me over in Illinois, Josh the J-Man Munt. J-Man, how we doing?
I'm doing all right. 80-degree day here in the Chicagoland. It is a tad windy, but can't complain.
Yeah, it is warm, tad windy, like you said. I finally got out after work today and hit some golf balls.
Oh, nice.
First time outside all year on the driving range, and didn't go too bad. Went better than I expected for the first time. So,
how sore are you going to be tomorrow?
Probably pretty sore. My left hand's already sore. My glove hand, which tells me I gripped the club way too tight. But I'll probably have a few blisters, probably. But I went to the clubhouse, said, "Can I have a bag of balls?" He said, "What size, small or large?" I said, "How many are in each?" "Small is 35, large is 80. I said, "Take the small." I thought if I hit 80 balls on the first time out, my fingers would fall off. So,
you said small or large, and my brain immediately went to different size balls. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But now that you said the quantities, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So, but it was good. It was good. Driving range was busy. Course was busy that I went to. But good little, I don't know, probably took me 30 minutes or so to hit 35 balls. Maybe not even that. I hit them pretty quick, so maybe not even that long. But it was fun. Good to get out there. I gotta start getting some reps in. I got a big tournament I'm playing with my dad in early June, so I gotta start getting out. And I blew it last week. We had a real nice weather day Thursday and over the weekend yesterday on Sunday. And I didn't get out either day. I had some other things to do. So, and it looks like the forecast is going to be kind of cruddy the rest of the week. A lot of rain coming in. So I thought I really better go out today after work. So that's what I did.
Looks like you need to get your priorities straight. Get out on the golf course more. That's what I
used to have my priorities straight, man. I kind of lost it a
Yeah.
couple of years ago.
Women.
So, when's the last time you've done a any kind of sport outside, like thrown a ball, caught a ball?
Oh man.
Ran.
Every once in a while, I'll just take off sprinting for whatever reason. But other than that, I'm trying to think the last time I've thrown a ball. I'm sure I've thrown a football not overly.
I didn't
recently.
know if you and your dad ever, like when you go to visit your parents,
every once in a while,
baseball out or football out.
Every once in a while, I'll break out a glove or something.
Yeah.
My wife was a softball player in high school, so not that we throw the ball around that much, but now that we have a kid, I'm looking into getting her like a little tiny baseball mitt, some wiffle balls and stuff. Now that she's walking around, so
yeah, I was gonna say that's probably like maybe within the next year or so you can start.
Yeah, definitely.
Toss the ball a little bit.
That'll be a lot of fun. But oh man, I don't know. I think I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Last time I actually.
When's the last time you shot a basketball?
I was just about to think.
I've shot a ball.
Last time I shot a basketball.
I think it's been a couple of years for me.
I think the last time I shot a legitimate basketball was in your parents' driveway, and that basketball hoop hasn't been up in how many years now? At least 5, right?
Probably.
Yeah. I would say that's the last time I shot a basketball.
No, you and I shot basketballs at the Blueberry Festival in 2021.
Okay. I do remember that.
That's 4 years ago, though. So.
Yeah. It was one of those stupid ones where I swear the rims are smaller than actual size. And of course, neither of us won anything. But that was probably the last time I shot a basketball. Now that I think about it, I forgot about that.
Yeah, probably. But we both could probably use doing something. But
definitely. I do have some birdie bogey for you here.
Because it's April 28th and I haven't got a birdie.
Last week the question was who has not had the number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
This week my question is what 2 teams are tied with the most number 1 overall picks?
Good question.
2 for a birdie, 1 for a par. I'll help you out a little bit, but I want to say we might have had this question in the past. It sounded.
Sad thing is I don't remember.
It sounded familiar to me, but then when I saw the answers, like I don't know. So maybe we did. I don't remember, and honestly, I don't think it matters because we're both so bad at it anyway that we'll probably
really are
forget. But birdie or bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House for good food, cocktails, casual atmosphere. Located at 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana.
Yeah, over the weekend and on Friday they had some beer battered fish, all you can eat. And then on Saturday, they had surf and turf. There was a 5-ounce beef tenderloin. You had garlic, rosemary potatoes, crispy halibut, fresh asparagus, and finished with some sort of sauce I'm not going to try to pronounce.
Spell it.
So it was a BURRE, and it's another word, MONTE sauce. Bray Monte?
Maybe.
I don't know.
That doesn't even look familiar to me.
I don't know. I don't know.
Bramante.
But they've been doing a lot of fish specials over the past few weeks. So, and their menu. See, where did they post that? That was their sister restaurant, Dreddy's. Never mind. Because say Dreddy's added more items to their menu.
Nice.
But they do have their hours now. I believe their hours might have got extended. I don't know. I'm looking on their Facebook page. Maybe I dreamt that. Not finding it now. So ignore what I'm saying. Anyways, go to Arlington Public House for a good dinner. Rochester. It's on Main Street in Rochester for any night between Thursday and Saturday.
Yes, sir.
There you go. So, well, J-Man, the NFL draft. It's come and went. It's an interesting draft, to say the least. I think the headliner has to be, though, the fall of Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. Legendary fall.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like that.
No. Projected, top 10, 20 pick even, and fall into the 5th round. Obviously, I mean, we see the attitude that he has and the lack of humility. And then, of course, there were reports coming out that his meetings that he had with, he only met with the teams picking in the top 5, which is probably a red flag in itself right there. And every report that has come out, all 5 of those meetings went very poorly. He was not prepared. I even read the story how he sat through the meeting with headphones around his neck listening to music the whole time. And teams called him out on it, and that went poorly. His reaction to that was poor. And of course, we've seen Sanders throw his team under the bus, especially his offensive line under the bus over the past 2 years. And in fact, one of the clips that surfaced that I forgot about was when they lost to Nebraska this year. He goes, how many times was Raiola hit tonight? Or how many times was he knocked down tonight? He's taking no accountability. I don't think his dad being Deion played a role at all at him sliding at all. I just think, Deion's Deion. You know what you're going to get there. But his talent, obviously, to many teams did not outweigh the baggage that comes with it. And he effed around and found out, as they say.
The crazy thing is, out of any scenario he winds up with the one team, he might still have a chance to start potentially in the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Which shocks me. They took him in the 5th round because they passed on him like 3 or 4 times, including taking Oregon's Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. So now how are you explaining to yourself why you passed him not only a couple times, but took a different quarterback in front of him?
It seems like an ownership thing that they stepped in and said, we need to take him. That's the only thing that makes sense. Because you take Gabriel. It's weird to take 2 quarterbacks in the same draft anyway.
It's only happened 3 or 4 times ever.
Yeah, and of course, I think the last time that made headlines was the RG3 Redskins, and then they took Kirk Cousins a few rounds later.
Right.
But it is a fascinating mix of quarterbacks in that quarterback room. Of course, you have Deshaun Watson with all that baggage. You have
He's
Wiley. That's right, he is. But
Achilles again.
He's in the room at least.
Right.
You have Wiley, old vet, Joe Flacco.
Just won't go away.
Which might not be the worst kind of guy to have in there with Sanders.
Except he doesn't like mentoring people. I remember when the Broncos had him for that short stint, just that season 2019, and they were asking about being a mentor and a leader to Drew Lock. He's like, I'm not here to do that.
Which, yeah, that was how long ago was that now? 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was 5 years ago, but he's still 34, 35 then. But
sure, but he was still a legit starter at that point, which now he's a backup. So maybe that mindset has changed. Then you have first round bust Kenny Pickett, and then you have your two guys you picked this year, and still I would say coming into the season post draft now, they are the team most likely to be in need of a quarterback in round 1 next year, even though they took Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
So their strategy made no sense at all.
And who's going to get cut? Because not all 4 are going to be on the team.
I would say, they traded for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, so he's not going anywhere, I wouldn't think.
Likely, he's not going anywhere. You're going to risk putting your third-round pick, Dillon Gabriel, in the was he a third-round pick or fourth-round pick?
Yeah, third round.
You're not cutting him or putting him on the practice squad so somebody can come in and sweep him up. You're not putting Sanders on the practice squad so somebody can come sweep him up. So it might be Flacco might be the guy that gets cut, which I can't imagine he's the guy that's going to get cut. I think
the guy that probably gives him the best chance to win.
I was going to say he'll likely be the starter, I imagine. So I would say it has to be Pickett that gets cut. If you're going to cut anyone, unless you're going to keep 4 guys, which is just asinine.
They've got to be the worst ran team in sports, don't they?
Terrible.
Yeah. I know we could make a argument, especially right now in the MLB with the White Sox and the Rockies, but man, the Browns have a history of this, and it just doesn't get any better.
Yeah. Their ownership's a joke. Jimmy Haslam is an absolute joke of an owner.
And now on top of all this, they traded out of the number 2 spot, which they could have got the best overall football player, in my opinion, in the draft. Added some enthusiasm and some energy to that fan base. Instead, they dropped back to 5.
Fifth,
take Graham from
Mason Graham
from Michigan. And he might be an awesome interior defensive lineman. He might turn out to be awesome, but still, it's not going to add that excitement to your fan base that Travis Hunter would.
Travis Hunter's a game-changing type talent where it's rare, very rare to have a defensive tackle change the trajectory of the franchise.
Aaron Donald might be the only one.
That's it. That's all I can think of. Maybe like a Warren Sapp, but that was so long ago in a different era that I don't even know if Sapp does that much in this year's sort of game. But the Browns, it was confounding their strategy. Sure, take a quarterback. They had a quarterback need, take one. And when they took Gabriel, I figured, okay, Shedeur's not going to be an option. Giants took Jackson Dart in the first round.
Great call on your book at J-Man. That was our most viewed short on YouTube we've ever had. Has over 3,000 views.
Oh yeah, that's me.
And people are laughing. My God, he was right.
For some reason, like right before the show on Monday, I was just scrolling through Twitter, and I forget who it was. I think it was either Warren Sharp or Field Yates said that Jackson Dart was starting to get some top 10 buzz. And that's what put it in my brain to put it out there. It was a reach, but it worked. Now, of course, none of us thought Sanders would fall to the 5th round. In fact, when
6 quarterbacks in front of him drafted?
Yeah, including like a Tyler Shuck from Louisville who went viral for that terrible throw he made at the combine.
The Saints love him. It wouldn't shock me because they're started by the end of the year.
He's old too. He's the last guy ever born in the 90s, in the 1900s, which is a dagger to the heart to be drafted.
Why do you think Jeff Brom got him? Jeff Brom loves old quarterbacks.
Loves his old quarterbacks. But yeah, there was a moment on Thursday. I'm like, okay, he's probably not going to go in the first round. However, Browns picked number 33. They're going to take him there. They didn't take him. Okay, he's going to go sometime in the second. Okay, it's third. There was a point on Saturday where I'm like, he might be undrafted, which would be wild. Which would have been wild.
How would you have felt if Miami would have taken him in the 5th round?
Hate.
Yeah.
Hated.
I saw some Miami fans out there like Dolphins, like just do it in the 5th round.
Dolphins fans are a large group of the biggest dummies you ever meet in your entire life. Can't stand a majority of them, especially on the Twitter. I hate even associating with the Dolphins fans anymore. That's how much I don't like them. For a backup, you don't want that kind of media attention. I hope the NFL steps in and HBO steps in, and it'll be the first year I watch Hard Knocks in a while if they go to Cleveland, because that would be incredible.
And my wife and I were eating lunch at Red Robin, no free ads, on Saturday. The draft was on, and he's making his slide. He hadn't been taken yet, and my wife's like, "You think the Broncos will draft him?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Why not? Like, especially if he keeps falling." I'm like, "Well," I said, our starting quarterback's only a 2nd-year guy, Bo Nix. Backup, they just re-signed Jarrett Stidham, gave him like $12 million or something. Not gonna, you're not gonna bring somebody else in to be a backup. Said already signed Sam Ehlinger as your 3rd string, and I said of any team, because what kind of media circus is going to come with Shadir Sanders. The team associated in the state of Colorado cannot take him.
Yeah,
that would be the worst. So I mean, I wasn't worried they were going to take him. I knew they weren't going to take him, but it was just funny explaining that to her. And I'm like, the Broncos franchise has already been through a media frenzy with a quarterback once before named Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
and
similar.
And this would be similar, but a little different. So I honestly thought, when he fell past the Steelers at 21, I'm like, how far is he going to slide? And I thought maybe the Steelers would grab him on day 2. Another team I thought made sense was the Rams.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
One team that, even though they passed him once or twice, like if they did eventually draft him and he goes like, why'd you, pass on me? They had a good excuse or reason saying, well, we're still going to have Matt for the next year or 2. We need to give up some pieces around him, but we also realized, with his career coming towards an end, we need to get a backup, but we had to get some pieces there first. So I thought they might have more reasoning, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, I was thinking even in the first round of them potentially taking him, once he got past them and then Pittsburgh, I felt a slide was going to happen, but I thought maybe Pittsburgh would trade back into the first round or the Rams would trade back into the first round. And it just didn't happen. And maybe it'll humble the kid a little bit. We'll see how he handles being a backup or a practice squad guy if you are going to put him on the squad. I wouldn't want that kind of distraction, especially for a guy that's not going to start for me.
Right.
And that's a reason why I didn't want the Dolphins to take him. Of course, they had a bunch of needs elsewhere that it wasn't quarterback, although they did take Quinn Ewers in the 7th round, which what an idiot he is. He could have gone back to school and made $8 million, and now he's likely going to be a practice squad guy, I imagine, for somebody. If it's not,
it was funny. So. It was funny. Good friend of the podcast, Evan Webb, shared in our college football 25 group chat the title cover of the game last year had Quinn Ewers, Donovan Edwards from Michigan, and Travis Hunter, undrafted 2nd overall.
Yeah. So, and that actually got me thinking today about who's going to be on the cover of this upcoming game. Gotta imagine Arch Manning's going to be one of them.
Yeah, probably. I'd go the route of putting some coaches, especially if coaches are going to be featured in the game. Sure. That's a safe route.
Yeah. Well, who would be the coaches? You think Kirby?
Maybe Marcus Freeman.
Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Dabo maybe have a case, but other than that, there's not really.
Or unless they could strike a deal, I don't know if they're going to have any features in the game of legends or anything. Strike a deal with Saban or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bobby Bowden.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
No.
Oh. but you can strike a deal with his family.
Yeah,
I
instantly regretted it when I said it.
No, I didn't take it bad. I mean, his family. I mean, at least you didn't say Paterno.
I was thinking Paterno, but I'm glad you said it and I didn't. So
no, I mean, everybody was probably thinking it at this point.
Yeah. Arch Manning. You think Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah.
I can't imagine they put a freshman on there like
no.
Michigan.
No.
Nico Iamaleava, or whatever his name is for UCLA.
Or the Lewis kid, the Lewis kid, the freshman quarterback on Colorado. Oh boy,
couldn't tell you that.
He's a pretty high recruit, and he'll be the next one to get on everybody's nerves out there in Boulder.
Yeah.
So don't put Raiola on. I might not buy the game if they did that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what kind of year he has because he did not play very well the final 6 or 7 games for them. A lot of hype, very little substance. Once the schedule heated up, he did nothing.
I saw On3 came out with their post-spring top 25. Eurolini ranked 9th.
My Illini.
If they're ranked 9th, they got to be Eurolini. You're crazy if you don't jump on board if they're ranked 9th in a freaking country.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
They've only been ranked in the preseason once over the past 35 years, and they went 5-7 that year. That was 2009.
I thought I know Purdue's schedule is still going to be hard, but not as bad as last year's. But yet, in the same breath, in that top 25, they play 4 of the top 17.
Still pretty
number
tough.
2 Notre Dame, number 5 Ohio State, number 9 Illinois, and number 17 Michigan.
Yikes!
Also in the Big Ten, which of teams they don't play, number 4 Penn State, number 6 Oregon, number 22 Nebraska, and number 25 Iowa.
Illinois is already talking game day. Ohio State, Illinois in October. And Champaign.
Yeah, I'll run through these real quick, just since we were talking about Texas 1, Notre Dame 2, Clemson 3. They haven't been up there in a while. Penn State 4, Ohio State 5, Oregon 6, Alabama 7, Georgia 8, Illinois 9, Florida 10, Texas Tech 11, South Carolina 12, Auburn 13, SMU 14, LSU 15, Arizona State 16, Michigan 17, BYU 18, Ole Miss 19, the U 20. Tennessee 21, Nebraska 22, Iowa State 23, Louisville 24, and Iowa 25.
Florida's turning into the Notre Dame and Texas of, a couple years ago where they're always ranked and then they go 7-5, 8-4. Of course, Texas and Notre Dame have turned things around considerably now.
Yes.
But Florida hasn't been at the top of the football pecking order in long time now, it feels like
15 years probably.
Yeah, easily 15 years. South Carolina gets everyone back. That's why they're ranked 12th, including their quarterback. I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to Illinois, honestly.
They get a majority of people back.
They did. They only got one guy drafted, and that's because every draft eligible guy pretty much came back. So on paper, they should be pretty dang good, and their schedule sets up to win them 10 games next year as well. But we'll
I might get them in the playoffs.
We'll see. I've seen this before. So they win 10 games again. I might have to jump fully back on, but it's.
I thought you kept moving the goalpost.
I know, I did.
It was 8.
I was moving the goalpost.
10. Yeah. I'm like, they won 10. What is it now? They gotta win the national title.
I was having a little bit too much fun keeping my Saturdays open and not having to watch Illinois football. So, which I guess I could still keep them open even if I am back on the bandwagon. I don't have to watch them.
No,
but,
no.
We'll see.
In my mock draft, I end up getting if you count getting Travis Hunter right, since I had him at number 2,
I'll give it to you.
I got 9 right.
All right.
I'm pretty happy with that.
That's pretty dang good.
I got the first 4 right, and then I got the Jets pick at 7 right. Then I got the Colts pick at 14 right. I got the Seahawks pick at 18 right.
How many total first rounders did you get correct?
Well, if you count Travis Hunter, I got 9.
Oh, just first round Like I mean like guys you had in the first round on your mock.
I think I got. I'm just eyeballing it.
Yeah.
27, 28.
Yeah.
Probably.
Sanders was the funniest one to fall out.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sanders, it's not really Sanders, but I think besides the Browns and Shedeur Sanders, the biggest loser this week might have been Mel Kiper.
He's a joke.
Yeah. He's past his prime. He did nothing but whine for 2.5 days that Sanders hadn't been picked. Then he goes on a rant how we have 50 years of evidence that the NFL has no idea how to evaluate quarterbacks, yada, yada, yada. He just seemed like a bitter, past his prime man.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't watched ESPN's draft show in years now. I'm all NFL Network. I think they do a lot better job. Like Rich Eisen, Daniel Jeremiah, all those guys I like better than the ESPN guys. And you don't get that. I mean, they talked about Sanders a little bit, but I guess it sounded like every single pick that was made, they had to bring Sanders into the convo. And that's, for one, not fair to the guys that get drafted. I mean, once in a lifetime opportunity, you hear your name called, they barely talk about you, then they go back to Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward, one of the least talked about number 1 overall picks ever. And I feel bad for him, but maybe that's good for him. He can kind of fly in under the radar. And so ESPN's got to figure that out because it's kind of a dying thing anyway. And people have really gotten on ESPN quite a bit here recently. And I'm glad I didn't tune into that one.
I would say most people watched ABC just because of most people get ABC.
Yeah.
And I had Kirk Herbstreit and some others.
Which would be better. Yeah.
I was an NFL Network guy. I usually am.
Yeah, me too.
But it was kind of funny. You know, the guy I had mocked to the Dolphins is being a Bronco.
Yeah.
Jahdae Barron. So, which shocked me. I thought for sure Broncos were going offense, either a running back or a wide receiver, but they went, best player available on their board, defense. They went defensive heavy. They went defensive heavy in the draft. It was not. I didn't love their draft, but I didn't hate their draft. Kind of in the middle. It just was kind of a head scratching draft, in my opinion. It went in a lot of directions. I don't think a lot of people thought they'd go. Taking a running back with pick 60 in the second round after trading back twice, and the running back you get is RJ Harvey from UCF, who's a speedster. He ran a 4.4, but he's 5'8", and they already have a 5'8" running back in the room with and McLaughlin. So I'm like, still don't know if either of those guys are running back number 1. I still don't know if the running back number 1's on the roster because I don't think it's Audrey Estime. I'm like, maybe they kicked the tires on Nick Chubb, who's still a free agent. I don't know.
I saw he's visiting the Bears today.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a head scratcher there. But, I mean, they went defense in the first round, traded, got a line 9 in the third round, wide receiver, Pat Bryant, which I was fine with that. They needed to grab another wide receiver. Trade back in the third round, got defensive lineman from LSU. Got a linebacker from Alabama in the fourth. And then they got a punter from Florida in the sixth, which they needed one. They didn't have a punter on the roster. And then they took in the seventh round a tight end from Utah who'd only played 1 year of college football because he's a college basketball player.
Nice.
Every reception he had in college was a touchdown.
Jimmy Graham.
Doubt he makes the team, but everyone's like, hey, Sean Payton did it with Jimmy Graham. I'm like, come on. I mean, they were saying the same thing about RJ Harvey. He's just looking for his next Darren Sproles, which this was only the fourth time Sean Payton has drafted or one of his teams has drafted a running back inside the top first 60 picks.
Wow.
And the others being Reggie Bush, Mark Ingram, and Alvin Kamara. So
all three pretty good too.
Yeah, if he can be like that, I won't complain. So we'll see. But really, Vance Joseph has no room to complain about defense next year. And the defense, as good as it was for a majority of the year, they were limping to the finish last year during the season. So
probably picking up depth too will help that.
Yep.
So
yep.
Pat Bryant though, he's good. Tall, not fast, doesn't separate much, but catches everything in his vicinity.
Reminds me like Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of Devontae Parker, honestly. Yeah. About the same size, good hands, but he's not going to beat you at the line of scrimmage because he's not very fast, but he can jump. Yeah. And
Dolphins draft. Were you happy with it?
I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever been unhappy with a draft afterwards.
It's hard not.
You kind of buy into it. But no, they did fine. Honestly, I mean, they only had 2 picks in the first. They had 4. They had a pick in the first, second, third, and fourth round, but they traded their third and fourth round picks. So they ended up with 3 5s, a 6, and 2 or 3 7s, something like that, with on top of their first and second. But drafted for need. I mean, they got a guy in the trenches, Kenneth Grant, who should be a plug and play guy there, and then Jonah something from Arizona, an offensive lineman, Sava something.
Kenneth Grant was one I did not have.
Not in the first round at all.
No.
I think a lot of guys had him in the bottom half of the first round or early second, but he was kind of rising at the end. They went for need, which is kind of frustrating. So you prefer them to take best player available. But they really have no one on their defensive line besides Zach Sealer right now. So they kind of had to. And then they took a guard that should be able to play right away, start right away, which again, need offensive line. Then went DB heavy in the and so kind of a boring draft because you didn't really have skill position needs. Which it's always more fun to take wide receiver, running back, that sort of stuff. You can tight end than it is guys in the trenches, but we'll see. Still have a lot of needs and not many guys in the free agent pool to pick from at this point. So it'll be interesting.
Speaking of tight end, that's where the 2 local teams in Illinois and Indiana and a majority of Tan J-Man Show Nation's favorite teams, I'm guessing, the Bears and the Colts. That's where they went. Bears to Colston Loveland at 10 from Michigan. And so Tyler Warren from Penn State fell right into Colts' lap at 14. So I think both were good draft picks by those teams.
Yeah, the Bears pick was kind of surprising. I thought they'd go offensive line. I think a lot of people thought they'd go offensive line there, but you get another weapon who is also a
lot of weapons on paper, man.
Very good. Yeah, very. I mean, their second round pick, Luther Burden's also very good. He was
from Missouri.
Yeah, projected first round pick that fell to the second round. So
you
had him. You get Loveland. You get no excuse. I mean, you get your head coach in that is supposedly this offensive guru genius, like he proved in Detroit. We'll see if that carries over to being a head coach, because there's a lot of times we've seen that it doesn't. Once you have to coach an entire team, you can't just be an offensive coordinator in a head coach name.
You're the CEO now of the team.
You are the CEO, which he seems more like a CEO than like a Mike McDaniel does, or stuff like that. But no, Tyler Warren might be my favorite player in the draft.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Fun to watch, and Colts needed some weapons as well, and they ended up taking Riley Leonard in the 6th round. So that's kind of funny.
Gotta think he's probably third string, but still, I mean,
that's the most inaccurate quarterback room I think we've ever seen. Richardson less than 50% completion in today's NFL is just like almost disgustingly bad. And then Daniel Jones isn't much better, and Leonard's not overly accurate either. They have some athleticism in that room, though, for sure. I'll give them
that. One pick I was happy I got right was Matthew Golden going 23 to the Packers. And that was good for the Packers and being alive at Green Bay, because how many years have we been saying they got to go wide receiver in first round? They don't do it.
23 years, I think.
Finally they do. And the reaction of the crowd was pretty good.
They said Green Bay did a pretty good job hosting.
I think they had over 200,000 people there.
Yeah, that's a lot for a tiny, tiny town, but they said they did a good job and were very fortunate, because late May you could get some snow up there.
Late April.
But late April. Not late.
Probably late May too, though.
Probably. But they had pretty good weather where I think it was decently warm for this time of year. So.
Yeah, but NFL draft's always fun. Now we got to wait a whole another year for it to come in 2026. I don't know. They announced where the draft is next year?
Pittsburgh.
That can be cold too.
Can be cold. Pittsburgh, awesome city. I'll go on record and say
I've only been to the airport there. I've never been to the city.
It's it's very clean, very nice. Seem like pretty nice people. Very walkable too, which is huge when it comes to cities because New York, Chicago, LA aren't walkable at all, really,
Right.
for the most part. Not too big, but I've been pleasantly surprised with Pittsburgh the 2 times I've been there. So yeah, and I saw some like a way too early mock draft, which it's funny to look back at last year at this time, way too early 2025 mock draft, and it has guys that aren't even remotely close to even getting drafted, and they had them in the top 10. So so it'll be interesting. I saw Arch Manning was number 1. He's barely played a down of football, and he was number 1 in that mock draft. And then I saw Drew Aller was on there, which I'm not a huge fan of him at Penn State. I think he's overrated. Caleb Downs was Ohio State guy. He was in that top 5. So
yeah, this says Arch Manning now they go number 1 going to the Saints. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Drew Aller going to the Browns, Anthony Hill going to the Giants, Caleb Banks going to the Jets, a lot of defense. Lenora Sellers going from South Carolina going to the Raiders. So they're not thinking Geno will get done there.
Yeah. I'm surprised the Raiders didn't take Shedeur.
Yeah. They got Newsmeyer of LSU going to the Rams. Well, that would make sense. The Rams getting a quarterback. They got tons of quarterbacks. They have that dude, I can't pronounce his last name. We were talking about the dude that left Tennessee going to the Steelers. Okay, I said tons of quarterbacks. I think I was seeing CB instead of QB. Yeah. Oh, they have a Broncos taking wide receiver from Oregon. Imagine that.
Yeah. It'll be fun to look back and see how wrong those are. So
yeah, it will be. It will be. But speaking of the NFL draft, my blind rankings is NFL draft related. Last week you did number 1 overall picks, so I thought this week I'd give you 5 guys that went in the 7th round.
I like it.
But had pretty good careers. Starting with Jamal Anderson, the Dirty Bird, 1 Pro Bowl appearance, 8 seasons, 4 1,000-yard seasons.
He was a big bruiser, I remember. I'm going to do the cop out and put him at 3 because I can't even. I can barely name you 7th round picks. So,
and I just after I did that, I'm gonna wait and hold the accolades till the end.
All right.
After you do the rest, because I feel like that will be
that'll sway me.
Yeah. Leon Lett.
And he was a really good player. He's just known for 2 stupid bonehead plays, one in the Super Bowl and then one on Thanksgiving Day. But I'm going to put him at 2.
2? Okay. Gary Anderson.
Oh, man. One of the better kickers ever. I'm going to put him 4, though.
Okay. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I got to put him 5. He had a heck of a career, though, and I like the guy. So I'm going to put him 5.
So you got number 1 left, right?
Yeah.
You did the right thing, even though this guy's in the news lately for not good reasons. Shannon Sharp.
He was 7th round pick, huh?
Yep.
Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Yep.
Off the field, not off the field issues, more like off the studio issues at this point. But I'm okay with that list. Yeah. How many Pro Bowls Leon Lett make?
2, and he had 33 career sacks, 11 seasons.
Yeah, he was a pretty solid player. He's just known for 2 really stupid things.
Shannon was a Hall of Famer, like I said, 8 Pro Bowls, 3 Super Bowls. Gary Anderson, 4 Pro Bowls, NFL's 3rd all-time scorer.
Yeah, I have a hard time putting a kicker up there, though.
I know, right. Right. And unfortunately, he's probably almost more known for a miss than anything.
Yeah, definitely. Was he the one with the single crossbar, like the single bar?
Yep, kicked forever.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Fitzpatrick, 17 seasons, 223 touchdowns, 1 games for 7 different teams.
I might switch him and Jamal Anderson in a draft, if you will.
I would. Yeah, Jamal Anderson had like 1 or 2 really, like I said, 4 years over 1,000. But he only played 8 seasons.
Played in the Super Bowl.
Played Super Bowl 33 and had that Dirty Bird dance. I'll never forget Sports Illustrated for Kids. He was on the cover one time, and it had his address. You can write fan mail, so I wrote him a letter trying to get an autograph. Never got anything back.
Oh,
still hold a grudge to this day. Still
hate the guy.
Hate the guy. Wouldn't go that far. Highly dislike the guy. But that is the blind ranking segment brought to you by, like as every week, Performa Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Performa Print 2 Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs, so you need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815.
Do you want to get educated?
You know I need it. Every week I need it really bad. So,
on this day in 1887, Europe's first motoring competition is won by the Marquis de Dion on a steam-powered quadricycle built by French toy maker and engineer Georges Bouton. French newspaper La Velocipede organized the test, and Bouton was the only participant, but they won, even though they're the only participant.
I was wondering where you go with that. Yeah. I'm like, I know some of these words, but that was pretty good ending.
On this day in 1930, the first night of organized baseball is played in Independence, Kansas.
I feel like we always have these night baseball on this days. It's like, which ones are true, which ones aren't?
1930, though. That's
man. Yeah. It's almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, man, it was. On this day in 1956, Cincinnati Reds outfielder Frank Robinson hit his first of 586 career homers.
It's pretty solid. Legendary figure in the game.
1961, Milwaukee Braves future Hall of Fame pitcher Warren Spahn threw his second career no-hitter. He was 41 years old when he did this one.
Jeez. Old Milwaukee.
On this day in 1966, who won the 20th NBA championship?
66? Go with the Minneapolis Lakers.
66?
Yeah.
Lakers were in LA already.
Were they already in 66?
Yeah, because they lost 4 games 3 to the Boston Celtics.
Oh, I thought they went there in the 70s. Okay.
Nope. On this day in 1967, Muhammad Ali refuses induction into Army and was stripped of his boxing title.
He was already known as Muhammad Ali there, not Cassius Clay?
According to this, he was.
Okay.
Yeah. On this day in 1985, Billy Martin was named New York Yankee manager for the 4th time.
This is embarrassing. You read about that.
They kept going back to him. Couldn't quit him.
No.
On this day in 1985, Fernando Valenzuela set a record 41 scoreless innings to start the season.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. On this day in 1987, the NBA announced expansions to Charlotte, North Carolina, and Miami, Florida in 1988, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Orlando, Florida in 1989.
I was going to say, I knew Orlando and Miami around the same time.
Yeah, 1 year apart. Who was the number 1 overall pick on this day in 1987 in the NFL draft?
Is that Vinny Testaverde?
That was Vinny. Vinny and the Jets.
I'm sure it was 86 or 87.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, though. 1988, the Baltimore Orioles lost their AL record 21 games in a row. That's brutal.
I'll give the Rockies time.
Brutal. On this day in 2003, Andre Agassi recaptured world number 1 ranking to become the oldest top-ranked male in the history of the ATP rankings at 33 years and 13 days. He was my age. He was number 1 ranking tennis player in the world. Our age, sorry. Number 1 ranked tennis player in the world, and I'm celebrating a 3,000 view YouTube clip.
Yeah. I saw something about him on Twitter over the weekend. He's was playing pickleball either with the number 1 player in the world or against him. Nice. I don't know. I didn't read the article, but yeah, he's pickleballing now.
Who was the number 1 overall pick in 2007?
Was that Eric Fisher?
Eric Fisher, I think, was 2013.
Oh my God! All right, wait. All right. Oh God, I'm acting like
it was now. It was 2013.
2007. I'm between two guys. Is that Matthew Stafford?
He was not.
No.
I think he was 2008.
Okay.
Purple drank himself, Jamarcus Russell.
Very forgettable.
Yeah. What about 2011?
Oh, that was Cam Newton.
That was Scam. What about 2016?
Vaughn was number 2. 2016. I think here's who was 2016? 9 years ago. Was that Jared Goff?
You got it. That's pretty good. Last one here, 2018, Shaquem Griffin is the first one-handed person to be drafted into the NFL, selected by the Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks. He's what? He played a year or two?
Yeah, special team.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stories though.
Yep, very cool. Very cool. And speaking of Seahawks, I like them getting Jalen Milroe. Here's a bold one for you. Jalen Milroe is their starting quarterback by the end of the year.
After signing whatchamacallit, Darnold to
now, I'm not saying he could get injured. He could play bad.
He could. Yeah.
Just throwing something bold out there. You threw a good bold one out there last week.
All right, I like it.
I'm trying to throw it out there and get some traction.
We'll have to remember this one.
Yeah, we won't. But yes, we should try. Good on the stay list this week, which is brought to you by Like It Is Every Week. Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of Texas with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting their Instagram page and their Facebook page at Mooney Woodcrafts. That's their handle on Instagram. And if you let them know that Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your first sign order. Mother's Day is just a couple weeks away, and Father's Day right after that. Soon it'll be Christmas. So get your sign orders in. Let Thad know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you. And you get 15% off your first one.
Baseball. Unless you have anything else.
No, I don't have. The only other thing I was going to hit on, I have watched a little NBA lately, the playoffs. I do got to say the playoffs are more enjoyable to watch than the regular season. Pacers looked good last night, up 3-1 against the Bucks. Now Damian Lillard came out today. He tore his Achilles, so he's done. I think the Bucks are done. The Pacers should be advancing, but then they get most likely, unless the Heat make one of the, which would be like the greatest comeback in NBA history.
Yeah,
they'll be playing the Cavaliers, and I don't know if they can beat the Cavs.
It's time for the Bucks to blow it up. That's my thought.
They got their championship a handful of years ago.
They did. I think I'll go on record and say I think Giannis is traded this offseason. I think it's time.
Yep.
Trading for Dame Lillard has gone poorly. I mean, they've been fine, but not a title contender really. And I think it's time to maybe move on from Giannis and kind of start over a little bit.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting to see if like the Denver Nuggets kind of follow the same. Maybe not trade Jokic, but I think they'll start changing some things because it's kind of getting stale.
I think they might go get another piece around Jokic and get rid of Murray, or Michael Porter Jr. is probably gone.
Yeah.
It still blows my mind that Eric Gordon's buzzer-beating dunk was the first buzzer-beating dunk in playoff history.
Yeah. I don't know what the rule is because it was definitely still touching his hand. But it was more than halfway through the rim or through the net. So I don't know what the rule is on that one. They needed it though, or they were done, in my opinion. They were down 3-1 and
now it's 2-2 and they probably got momentum flipped back to their way. But it's interesting, the East, if the series fall like if they fall with everybody leading right now, you have the Pacers and the Cavs. That's a little rivalry because of the Central Division. And then you got the Celtics and Knicks. That's a rivalry within itself.
Pistons have played the Knicks tough.
They have.
They're down 3-1, but I think the last 2 losses they've had were by 2 or 3 points.
The refs kind of screwed them over yesterday.
They did yesterday for sure. But yeah, they've played them a lot tougher than I thought they would.
Then the West, you had OKC already eliminate the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
They'll play the winner of the Clippers and the Nuggets. It looks like unless they have a comeback, the 3-seed Lakers going to be going home to the 6-seeded Timberwolves.
Yeah, the Wolves and Lakers were they differed by one game this year, so it's not like it'd be a major
Right.
upset.
Right.
But yeah, another year where LeBron doesn't get another one, and he'll be 41, and I think this fall. So it'll be.
He's still producing unbelievably though.
He didn't score a single point in the fourth quarter when they blew a double-digit lead. So a lot of people have been on his case for that. When's he done? I don't know. He played with his son. Is he waiting for the other one to get there? The other one's supposedly
I don't know.
Not very good, even though he's going to Arizona. Bryce?
Maybe he wants to bring maybe he wants to bring the Lakers a real championship outside the bubble.
Well, they traded for 25-year-old superstar Luka Doncic, and
that was for the future, J-Man, not for this year. That's what they say.
Yeah, well, when is the future happening? Because both those guys are incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
And then Austin Reeves is really good too, so you're gonna have to pay him eventually too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the Warriors are up 2-1 over the Rockets. Game 4 is tonight.
Yeah,
so that could be an upset if you want to call it an upset.
Steph Curry is still pretty dang good.
Yeah, he's getting old too, but he still produces.
They played really good basketball after they traded for Jimmy Butler. And it's kind of changed their season a little bit, but
nobody's ever said that before. It's usually the opposite.
I know.
Jimmy Butler, your season goes downhill.
I know. That does happen a lot.
But I haven't been watching a ton. I've been watching, a little bit, and then of course the NHL. I've been watching the Avalanche do tied 2 games apiece to the Stars. But besides that, I haven't watched any. But both playoffs last so long; they both go into June.
Yeah, I haven't watched a single second of the NBA playoffs.
Well, you got a lot of baseball to watch, and your team's playing pretty good.
See it on the tweeter. But my baseball team is playing pretty good. 17-12, they've had the hardest schedule in baseball so far. Every single team they've played is 500 or better, and they clinched the season series against the Dodgers, which is shocking after starting 0-2 against them in Japan. They've won 4 or 5 since then, and it's very nice. They're done with the Dodgers, they're done with the Padres, and they're done with the Arizona Diamondbacks already. So you don't have to worry about them until October, should the Cubs get there. But game and a half up on the Reds. Reds have had a very easy schedule. They got to play the Marlins and Rockies this week, and they destroyed the Rockies for the most part. But Cubs schedule's lightening up a little bit, or will be lightening up this month. They start in Pittsburgh tomorrow, which is never easy. They will have to face Paul Skeens once, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. They'll face Skeens, and they have to go to Milwaukee. So have not played a divisional opponent. They have not played anyone west or east of Texas. Until the Phillies came to town, I should say, and they lost 2 or 3 to the Phillies this week. But very, very happy with the way they've played so far. But pitching is starting to become a bit of an issue, especially since Steele's injury. The starts since Steele's injury, the last 11 starts, starting pitchers have gone 5 1/3, 5, 5 1/3, 4 2/3, 4, 5, 5 2/3, 6, 5, 3 2/3, and 7 innings. When your bullpen's having to throw 3 to 4 innings a game, it's likely not going to go very well for you. And Cubs bullpen's not very good to begin with. So I don't know what you do here late April, early May, because teams just aren't ready to start trading guys away. So maybe the Rockies don't have any pitching. So it's not like you can kind of jumpstart that by going and getting someone from the Rockies or White Sox for that matter.
The Monforts really need to sell the team. They won't, but they really need to.
They won't, but they do for sure. But offense has been great. They've scored the most runs through 25, 26 games. Now they're in game 29 that they've had in their history, the 5th most ever in the Cubs history. So they're really hitting. They were kind of shut down the past 2 games, which happens. Disappointing into a very good week where you went 3-2 against the Phillies and Dodgers. But just got to keep winning, and hopefully they can get more out of Dansby Swanson, because third third base and shortstop have been kind of a black hole so far, especially third base. I mean, guys are making errors over there. They're not hitting. No one's produced there, which has been an issue really since they traded Chris Bryant for 4 years now. And it's continuing to rear its ugly head. Dansby has been one of the worst hitters in baseball. He's been so good defensively that you can live with it. But Craig Counsell's still hitting him fifth. And he's hitting 123 with guys in scoring position this year and striking out over 50% of the time with runners on base. Took him a couple months to get going last year, but you can't wait a couple months. You're not going to take him out of the lineup because he's so good defensively, but you got to move him down. I mean, Pete Crow Armstrong's literally first player in the history of baseball with 5 homers, 15 extra base hits, and 10 steals at the end of April, ever, or through 25 games ever. So you got to move him up. He's been turned into a superstar type of talent that we saw. Now it's starting to be consistent. Kyle Tucker's been awesome. Ian Happ's been good. Just got to stay healthy. And overall, very, very pleased with the way the season's heading. But May scares the daylights out of me. Because last year, 8-19 in May. The year before, 8-18 in May. And you go 500 in those months, and you likely make the playoffs both those years. So until they can get through May unscathed a little bit, I'm going to be a little cautiously optimistic going forward. But as I said, game and a half up on the Reds. The NL West is fantastic. I mean, Giants look like one of the best teams in the National League, 19-10. Dodgers are 18-10. Padres 17-11. They've kind of slumped here the past couple weeks. I think they're 3-8 over their last 11. Diamondbacks are good, just 3.5 out. And then you have the Rockies already 14 games out. They stink. AL West, Mariners 16-12, Rangers 15-13. Astros 14-13, A's 14-14, Angels 12-15. They're all kind of jumbled up there. Tigers look very good so far this season. Look like the best team in the AL Central. They're 18-10. Yankees are winning the AL East. I saw somebody say today about Aaron Judge, because the rest of the lineup has stunk, that he is a Maserati or a Bentley parked in a trailer park or something like that. Because they're getting very little production from anyone besides Judge. But the National League Mets have only given up 12 homers this year, which is a shocking number because you look elsewhere around baseball, and I think the next closest team's given up 22.
Wow.
So that's a lot of luck goes into that too. So I think that number will get more average. For instance, Cubs, I think, given up 34 homers so far this year, 32, 34 homers, something like that. But kind of hitting the dog days of May already with baseball, and this is kind of where teams start to separate themselves. So just got to keep playing. Keep playing, boys.
So far, pretty positive J-Man on Twitter. So
yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yep.
They lose
I like
a couple.
Angry J-Man better.
They lose 2 or 3 to the Pirates this week, and you'll see a scorched earth J-Man.
What if they get swept?
Oh man, you're not gonna hear much from me for those days. No, I'll be all right. It's such a long season. I've kind of the past couple of years kind of gone with the flow a little bit more than I did years past, where every game was the Super Bowl in a sense. So.
Not good for your blood pressure.
Nope, it's not. But here we go with the birdie or bogey. 2 teams are tied with 7 times picking number 1 overall. Can you name those 2 teams?
Well, I was trying to go back through since 2000, and that didn't do me really any good. So now I was trying to think historically, and one of these teams, right off the top of my head, I know of 5 times, and I'm guessing they've had 2 other. The Colts.
Colts are one of them, so you got at least a par.
Because I thought Luck, Elway, George, Manning, Browns.
Good guess, but you are incorrect. So I'll give you one more guess just for fun.
I don't think it's the Lions. They've had a lot of top 3 and top 5. I only remember them picking number 1 once in the last 25 years, but 7 times. So it's got to be somebody that's been around for a long time. I'm gonna go Lions, even though I don't think it is.
It is not. It is the LA Rams.
No, wasn't even on my radar.
I mean, they've had 2 number 1 overall picks since 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
and they stunk back in the day. So
yeah. All right, I'll take a parlay so I didn't fall even further behind.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show. We'll be back at her next Monday with another episode. Have a great week, everybody.